G'day, welcome back to episode 102 of my series. Now, last episode I did declare it the 100th episode. You might notice the title was episode 101. That's because I accidentally made two episodes named level session 89. So I just expanded that out one, and turns out that was 101. So here we are in 102, and let's get cracking. Now that wire bridge there is overloading, so I assume that I've used the wrong conductive... Oh no, that is conductive wire bridge, so that should be the right one. But why is he the breaking point? That section. And they are just sort of sitting at strained. But we'll have some more power coming in here soon, I guess, so we can add to the ball. I mean, all I have to do is just add another transformer, and that solves that problem too, because it's nothing about the amount of like I can just have as many transformers as I want connected to my heavy watt wire. Okay, so if we look at this setup here as well, just continuing on what we've got down here, we can go 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across. So if we just sort of do, yes, basically do the same length as that room, and we can deconstruct those two pieces of wall, and we can ask them to dig out everything inside that room. Next thing that we want to do is get a gas pump in here. And basically just a nice short ventilation push. So we can just put that there. Gas pipe like that. How close is our power cable to and where it needs to be? And you can see that's strained. So let's address that pretty quick too. So what we can do is it's because someone's using this, I realize that's the extra strain on that thing. What we can do is use this area here. If I copy that, and then just run him straight down. We take that and just build the floor with that, and then we ask them to dig out that whole room and just cancel those. Put a maybe two in this room. Okay. So electricity for this guy, it's a bit tentative because it does mean that we have to connect to that already strained wire. Although we can just pop this guy over that and use that one. Which looks like it's under a little bit less pressure. Alright, so that's that guy on the go. This is filling up again nicely, so I guess someone has gone to the effort of getting all this water down for me. Got heaps of water there to work with. Our gas is still pumping through here. Actually, firstly, what's our limiter doing on this one? So that was 400 was what the limit was. So we want to make that a full 900. Once that's finished, then we can reset to 500. This goes up to 100 kilos in there. We're still awaiting. It's just waiting for the steel to get delivered. I mean, do I just sort of put these as higher priorities? I mean, they're not breakneck urgent, but it would be nice just to know that they are coming along. I suppose they have built this section here, so they are steadily getting there. Again, I haven't fixed this up yet, so let's copy him and put him there. And let's deconstruct that guy. Then have a look at the wiring goes into this one. I suppose what we want to do is just him to join like that. And we deconstruct the power wires that go there. And we can deconstruct that block and that door. So now with those gone, what we can do is put that thing there. And I just want to pay attention to this while this is happening, because we don't want to... because basically they're going to have to put suits on in order to work on this thing. But as soon as that's built, we need the Atmo suits to sort of be set up alongside it, because then otherwise they're not going to... they're not going to ever progress through, and obviously we do want guys working on the other side of this. So as soon as that's in place... Lovely. We'll, they're the same, cool. Or I can just say... I don't need to do any settings copying. They deconstruct that, copy that, put him there. Good that they still will sort out themselves with suits. Passing back and forth. Copy that one, put him there. Then that'll, you can see these three currently have no checkpoint until those are built. And associates them together. So if we have a look at ventilation as well. I want to change the ventilation layout for these guys. So... let's think about this. I think I want to cancel. Show me that pipe. Gas pipe. Deconstruct that gas pipe. Deliver a suit and deliver a suit. Hopefully I do have enough around somewhere. Part of the point here as well is that they need we really do want these front guys to actually get more oxygen, or they need to be getting oxygen more, like, as frequently, if not more frequently than all the other guys around them. So we go like that. Deconstruct. What that should mean is it'll come in here, it'll split three ways, one to those two, one to those, that one, and then one to those two, and then they'll and then you can see, like, say if these guys are full, then it'll just sort of push it to the more forward ones. So the other good news is that is completely full up as well, so hopefully we this isn't too much of a struggle. Is that someone's just dumped that suit because they couldn't work out where it was meant to go? To say, there was another project I was working on, but I think that's complete. That's this guy. And he's happy and healthy. And if we have a look at ventilation, you can see he's actually getting backlogged. So it does mean that we are in a good place for our oxygen, I would say. We've got a basically endless run of oxygen getting up to these guys at the moment. I mean, you can still see those are empty. Just whether or not we split this again. Like I said, I think I said in the last one, that maybe what I do is I get this pipe to hop over this and then come up this way, and then just have him take care of half the suits while something else takes care of the rest. The issue potentially here is that if this is completely full, this guy will never move anywhere. Like, he'll just be jammed. This guy here at least has an outlet that he can go that way. Whereas this guy will just be like, well, if I can't fill that, I can't do anything. But, I mean, if you look at that, we can assume that the suits are always going to have demand. So that should be okay. Should. Alright, so what we want to see here is this guy just get rid of all the carbon gas. There you can see at the moment it's about 18 kilos worth of stuff in there. I'm going to get all that debris out of that as well. Anything available for that pepper seed? See how low our water is, which is part of the urgency of this room getting set. Right, so let's not wait for this guy to get all the gas out of here. Let's really start to get this set up. Okay, and what we'll do is we want to put in it's a large power transformer. Put a small one do the trick. This room is sort of such a weird shape in terms of trying to get transformer in there. I suppose if we go here, and then what we want to do is take that block and make him join a block. Then run the heavy wire down to here. Then have this guy go... Well, what we can do is copy this and just run that wall like that. So that then we can put the conductive wire into the wall straight up there. And then what we want to do is cut this off. There's nothing else on the other side with this rock crusher, so I don't really want to cut these guys off the rock crusher side. I think we just want to cut these guys off off their side. They got that in real quick. Alright, good. So the next thing that we want in is a steam turbine. Slot him in there. The power that he needs is just a power connect to that, so we'll give him a heavy wire that'll run him back that way. Give him a manual airlock, doesn't need anything fancy. I think that's him set. So on this underside, what we need is then a gas pump. Sit here. And then we'll take the cabling from this guy. Which does mean that, like, once we've got this guy connected, basically pulling this off, these three off that one, and then putting these two onto that one. So it's sort of a similar size. Similar size problem, essentially. Two of them connected. Then what we need, we're gonna have to recreate this mess here too. So I guess that we're gonna make that in this section here. So it's 3 high. We don't need anything fancy for the blocks for this bit, so we'll just... Why could I not build there? There's that plant in the way. No power consumers, right. Just need those two made. Alright, cool. We can see that carbon dioxide's down to 14%. Sorry, 14 kilos from 18 kilos, so he is doing his job. Now, like I said, I do want to experiment trying to get a bit more of a continuous steam moving in here. You can see that the steam will drip in here. And it immediately, so that's just coming back from this guy, and it immediately disappears again. But with the rockets, I am currently stealing steam from it, so eventually it could run out of steam. I mean, a very long time. You can see the density of the steam there. But I wonder, what if I put in a similar thing like the gas valve, and I just had a low drip going in here that it hit it in such a small dosage that it was turning into steam instantly. started working on this. Is the cabling down here when we don't have that cabling yet going? So, let's try and get them to prioritize those two pieces. Now, speaking of prioritize, how'd they do with the yeah, there we go. A bit more movement with the rocket. So if we look at our star map, assume that's saying that we've landed someone there. So go for this one next time. That rocket is currently can travel 700 kilometers. It's set up as it is. That goes, what's that saying? 10,000. No, his distance is 10,000 kilometers away, I guess. I'm reading that. Definitely need a bit more steam in there. Alright, good. Great, so those conductive wires are now done. So what we then want to do is have a look at the conductive wires over here, and we want to say, actually the bridge, deconstruct the bridge. While we're looking at it, let's go deconstruct those three as well. Now, this guy is off and running, so they don't need both sides of that being pushed through. Whether they actually will get to that with any sort of urgency. It's nice seeing that those full green bars here in the back, and even these ones here that actually have like glimmer of green is something new for us. There's a lot of stuff on the floor in here too. Let's see if I can clean that up for us. Now the purpose of you actually is that, isn't it? So I don't have to worry about that. This guy actually doesn't matter too much yet, I don't think. More about the liquid. So what we want is we will get a copy of this guy in. It's trying to rebuild this whole map. In part why I've got it sort of set the way I do, just so that I can map it, so I don't have to think about it too much, and I can just say, all right, this is how I've set it over there. Let's build it the same way. So let's get rid of all of those squares. Yeah, I don't think he matters. Yeah, he's purely there for this system. Temperature in there isn't getting much worse. But you can see that this guy is struggling to push anything through. So let's just start doing a full copy setup. So you can see there's a thing there. Him and put him there. He goes there. He goes just below that one. And then piping wise, it's the insulated piping that they've got. So it is pipe from here into there. Pipe from here goes up. Pipe from here joins that. Pipe from here goes across. And that will go out. This guy goes down. Alright, and there's an automation wire in there too. Now, I don't know how the automation's going to work. This one. So it's green down across, and then this is across to there. I mean, it's going to be so much further away than what that one is that if this thing actually being open or closed has an impact on where this is going, how am I going to stop it from going to the wrong spot? I suppose it's just a second liquid shutoff that I need to put in place for that to operate. Now for the power for these guys, what I actually might do is have them just connect into this grid, because they shouldn't be overly demanding. We will get our liquid pump. Where's that liquid coming from? Alright, that was what, if I've got excess here, because this is moving at such a slow rate, I just pump this out to the other side. That straight line there between the polluted water on this side and the fine water on that side. I suppose it's because of what the fine water's coming out of that vent. So the first thing that we want to do in this room will be that we build our liquid pump. So we'll build him here. And issue is I don't want polluted water in here. I don't think. Polluted water will steam as well, won't it? Assume. Let's go plumbing. Insulated pipe, because this can be quite warm. This guy is facing the right way, yep. Right, like that, and then across, and then he runs down here, and hops. No, press the wrong button. And then he hops down, and it insulates his way down the walls. And for now, we just put him in there. We'll let him just put some water in that room. Power-wise, we can just run him across again, which does mean that we're adding more to that new circuit that we've made, but we'll see how he goes. So down to 7 kilos of the carbon dioxide in there, so we're getting there. Guys starting to struggle with overpressuring on that side. I mean, that's a pretty big area. That hope he'll be able to do something with it. Speaking of, how are we looking over here? So the oxygen is all the way down. There's, I guess, this point that these guys are starting to struggle with a lack of carbon dioxide, but don't worry, it'll be back. It's actually meaning that that guy's having to keep stopping. Maybe what we could do... And all of that's pretty heavy. Like pressure for the carbon. I was going to say I could set this guy up to also try and pump out to help this guy so he can just keep going as opposed to getting stopped. Because it looks like there's just gas essentially just sitting in the pipe that's not even being able to be pushed out. So The experiment that I want to do where I'm going to start dripping water into one of these rooms, I'm going to do with my existing room. But if I start it and it fails, it's going to stop the it's going to stop the steam from working. So what I just want to do is I want to just have this guy operating before I do that, so that I've at least got one of the two of them pumping. I don't think it'll stop pumping, it'll just stop the steam turbine from working. It's probably not that big a deal, but we'll at least add one more steam turbine in there before we do anything. Alright, so we've got our dirty water in there. Definitely let me know if dirty water is going to be a problem for me. I imagine it will still steamify at some point. We'll take that up to about here in that room. It's funny how heavily pressured the carbon is out here. There's that guy still pumping away. Just pushing gas out. This guy's run out of gas again. How's he doing in terms of what he's got left in the pipe, though? So he has actually completely emptied. It's just this guy that's sort of giving us the tiniest little bit of natural gas through while that's out of commission. So that definitely put a little bit more of a squeeze on our power generation. How are we doing with this guy? 32 remaining. Look at that string of water coming down. I do find it funny when the water will just sort of block itself like that. There's nothing that really should stop that from being able to continue to progress down, but there it is. Food-wise, we're doing quite well still. I don't see much result in the way of these guys, but I think that someone pointed out before as well, it's also purely based on how fast they eat them. That's always going to be the top priority on the menu, so it's not going to be sitting in there waiting for showing me a sort of a backlog of it. I've got a whole bunch of sleepy looking guys there. Harold looks alright, the 2 negatives to 1 positive. Never going to win me over, especially when I don't want any more people. Stage. Alright, 6 kilos. What pipe are you? Why are you blocked? What's... Alright, so you're just being used for that. So, with that pipe, let's try and work this out, because this is going to take longer than I care for. And I'm now realizing that it's not actually going to stop this guy from working. It shouldn't be a problem. So, we say gas valve flow rate minimizer. Chuck him here. So that's a gas one, sorry. We don't want a gas one, we want a liquid one. What were we called? Gas valve. Liquid valve. Liquid valve volume. Great. Okay, so wide is in. So if we go and put this guy, say, here. Is anyone going to be able to reach him there? It's not. Alright, so let's go copy and build him a step closer, and we'll cancel that one. It's fun, isn't it? If you're building the, you're doing the steel, you get to be doing it next to a waterfall. the filter select, no filter selected for that guy. So what we'll do here is we'll just say copy settings, settings applied there. So I think that what I need to do is do another liquid shut off, flip him upside down, put him there, and then it's an automation wire between the two of these. I think that works for what I want. Because then what would happen is that as opposed to this needing the vent needing to open and close, in theory it's just that the shut off is what's opening and closing, simulating what this guy has. And then we have this guy run up. It's the best spot for him to run up. Why do we have that kink in this cable? I don't remember. Let's get rid of it. Must have been to access that at some point. What we'll do is we'll run this guy over and go up. Then across to there. And we'll just get him to go up that route. Because there's a bridge already there, basically, so it means that they have a bridge, a ladder already there, so I can just have them run up to... So, because if I try to build straight up here, there's just not enough room anywhere to get access to it. They get rid of him. Changed him to insulated. I guess it's going to do that whole little section because it's drawn over all of them. Ah, well. It's only granite that's costing me. It's not gold or iron or anything. Okay, so now that that's adjusted, we can deconstruct liquid pipes. Well, let's get rid of all of them. I've done this with insulated. And then what we can do is go plumbing, liquid bridge, over the top of that one going that way. And have this guy go up here. And then we'll go up there. Liquid vent there. Right, and there's still more to this too, actually, because what we now have is the conditions of this setup here, but we don't have like what actually happens when, like, so you can see in this one that you've got the options of the liquid going out this way or the liquid goes up and back in. So there's nothing fancy about it going back in. It does literally just pass straight through and back. So either we can run this up and just try and get it to connect to this one and to that vent, or what we can do is just give it its own vent. So we'll go give it its own vent. We've just got to weave this cable some way back up into this room. But what we can do is we can just appropriate this, I suppose. So if we just go straight up like that, and then say, I realize I went through that ordeal there, just trying not to impact this tubing while there's actually nothing running through it. So I'm gonna insulate it all, just because the reason that this water is getting sent back is because it's not hot enough. Sorry, it's too hot. So we do want to encourage it to stay the temperature it is, because we've just gone through the process of cooling it. And then what we want to do is find that liquid pipe and this one here, deconstruct him. Let's chuck that as a 9 just so someone gets through and removes it for me. And then we'll put in a liquid bridge just to ensure that the liquid coming from here does get sent that way. But it does mean that any liquid coming from here can also just get pushed through and up into that. Now, one other condition here actually that I've missed on this cable, on this setup, is this guy. So the water that does go into... and actually probably would have got rid of that, solved my problem of having that dirty water going in here too. So you can see that the guy that actually is filling this does go through a filter. So is it filtered? If not, like is it clean water? If not, go to this guy. And so what we can do is if we say deconstruct that 1 point there, and we'll just chuck it as a 9 just so we can get to this nice and quick. And we say plumbing insulated, and he goes up and across. You then take this guy and copy him and put him like that. We then go plumbing insulated like that. And then this guy goes up here in there. And we'll just chuck a quick 9 on him just so I make sure that his conditions are met. What that'll mean is it will only see clean water basically end up in there too, if this guy ever gets to clean water. Okay, and again, another device getting connected into our system here. We've probably overpowered the slot here. Need to make another machine. I suppose what we can do is just get rid of that wall there and put him right next to it. That guy's connected, so then what we can do is go to this guy and say copy settings, him applied. And that should be to a point that at least when we come back next time I'll remember what I was doing. Alright, another heavy one on pump design. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below, and until next time, catch you later. See ya.